right, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I'm still getting used to um, my new phone, and so because of that, I had paused you all because I was cutting out this strip of material, and then when I was trying to come back, well, you know the story now. Now this is a two-parter, whether I wanted it to be or not. So if you're watching this first, and this is the second part of it, welcome back to my channel. And this is Mary, and we are making, what am I calling these? Now I can't think of what it's called. Shabby Chic. We're making Shabby Chic flowers now. So anyway, I didn't want to cut this too wide. I'm hoping this is not too wide so I can actually see the other part here. So I'm going to run a little thin line of glue here. Sorry about that. I was wanting to keep that all into one video, but now I have to upload two. Oh well, that's okay. One of these days I will master this phone. And when I do, I'll be going, woohoo, I've mastered it. But, you know, until then, back to the drawing board, back to the drawing board. Okay, so you'll want to start kind of where you ended your first run of stuff here. And just kind of put that there. Make sure it sticks down. I want to have more of my, I hope I have more of my jean material showing through, and I think I should. I'm not really worried about the little straggly strings on the end here. So next time if I have to pause, I hope I hit the darn pause button the next time. Oh gee, why can't I remember that? I don't know. So, if I go off camera, I'm very, very sorry. It's just not... I'm also having to get used to working on camera again. It's just one of those things you just got to get used to. Because this is a thinner type of material, this might be a poly and cotton, or just, you know, the way you can tell usually if you just kind of wrinkle it up. No, I think it's cotton. See how wrinkly it is? So that's a cotton material. I don't remember what I paid for this particular material. Like I said, I got it probably at a quilting type of store, and or a quilting fabric shop. But they were running some sales, and as I recall, it was right before the holidays, so I'm sure they had some sales going. Because normally things like this are just really, to me, they're rather expensive. So, you know, quilts are not cheap to make. Not that I've ever made one, but my mom used to make quilts. And so if she were around nowadays, she would really be flipping out over the prices, let me tell you. She passed away in 2019, for those of you that don't already know. And, yeah. I miss her. I miss her. She used to call me quite often. And I would usually return the calls, you know, as much as possible. Depending on, you know, how busy I was or whatever at the time. Her favorite place to go shopping was Walmart. You know, in her later years, that used to be her favorite place to go. And, well, and her later years, I didn't really enjoy shopping with her that often. But sometimes I just went because I didn't want her going by herself. So a lot of times she would drive, or if I had the car, if I happened to have the car or something like that, then I drove. But, yeah. Anyway, she was that type of person that, when she when she shopped, she would shop. That meant me just sort of, I can do my shopping pretty fast in a grocery store because I already know what I need to pick up. But with her, oh my goodness. And I remember how she was when she was younger, probably even younger than I am now, and probably when I was still little. But anyway, I remember how she shopped when she was younger, and it wasn't much different. I think the only difference was because when I was little, I was, how you are when you're little, you're just like, okay, well, Mom, come on, let's go. And, but when I used to go shopping with her, like I said, when she was in her later years, she would take forever. She'd have, she liked buying cantaloupe. A lot of things that she bought, I don't care to eat. But I've tasted cantaloupe. I just never got the taste for it. It's like, ew. But anyway, I can't handle a lot of fruit anyway. But, oh yeah, she always had to touch and feel the ripeness of cantaloupes. She did that with grapefruit. She did that with everything, And she'd have to inspect the potatoes. It was just, oh my gosh, I just couldn't believe. Now, I understand now where she was coming from with the potatoes, because sometimes with your potatoes, I'm not talking about the ones that you pick out separately and then by weight they're sold, or whatever, you bag them yourself. I'm not talking about those kinds of potatoes. I'm talking about the kind that are already bagged up for you. And if there is one that is already starting to rot, you can smell it. But I can still see my mom, smelling the bags of potatoes, and I think to myself, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. I used to think it was very embarrassing that she did that. But I think to myself, oh, I wouldn't do that. But, oh, heavenly days. Now I find myself, now I don't smell them, but like I said, if there's one that's rotting already in the bag and it's already going bad, you can tell. You don't have to, like put that bag up to your nose and sniff it. But but anyway, I used to think a lot of things that she did was so embarrassing. I think, oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. And even though we'd go in sometimes with separate carts, she'd always want me to be, near her or whatever. So she didn't want me to go too far. And I think to myself, my gosh, I'm not a little kid anymore, And sometimes I guess it depended on her mood. She would just go, oh, well, fine, just go, go. And so, but like I said, I get my shopping done, and then I think to myself, well, where in the world did she go? And I think maybe she got a little bit farther than where she was. And I find her back in the potatoes, and she hadn't moved too far. She hadn't gone too far away. So I thought, wow. But, she took her time, and she was a very careful shopper, and she always was. And I thought, wow, that's something that, I probably never forget. And sorry if I'm going off camera, but anyway, I can tell you something right now. That's why I say that if my mother were still around to these days, she would flip out over the prices. She'd be like, what in the world the heck happened here? What in the wild world of sports is going on, So, yeah. as you can see, well, let's see. You can kind of still see a little bit of the blue jean, but I mean, if you wanted to make your material a little bit thinner, more narrow, I should say, thinner, more narrow to work with, you could. It's just whatever you want to do. Like I said, I wasn't planning on this being a second parter, but apparently it is. And when I first started making my videos, let me see. Yeah, it was in 2019, but I think when I started making my videos, she was already gone. She had already passed away, but I know anytime I would tell her that I wanted to try something new, she'd say, "Oh, now why do you want to do that for?" And that's just the way she was. Now, she used to encourage me more, I think more when before she got too terribly old. Where she may not have, I don't know. I think people change over the years. She may have already got to that point in her life where she was already over the fact that, just she's tired of life. And, because she led a full life, really. And, I mean, my parents were both from the 20s, and so when their families were bringing them up, they were having to go through the Great Depression. So I'm sure if you've had parents or grandparents that went through that sort of time, then you'll know what I'm talking about. They saved everything. It's just, wow. That got me there. It saved, oh, wow, yeah. I didn't let that. Here, I'm telling you, you might want to wait for that to cool down. And I didn't even listen to myself, did I? Yeah, well, anyway. But before my mom got too terribly to the point where she didn't really care anymore or whatever, she probably would have thought this project was kind of interesting that I'm doing. Because she was all about, she wasn't just a seamstress, but she got into crafty stuff too. And, I kind of went off there a little bit. But, that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I think my mom was more of a perfectionist. She kind of raised me to be a sort of a perfectionist too, but I'll tell you what, that can wear you out fast to be a perfectionist. I got so worn out with that. I thought, I'm done trying to be a perfectionist. I am not perfect. Although I do like for things, and I do get frustrated sometimes, like, okay, well, that project didn't turn out right. And then on top of it, it wasn't too bad before I did videos, but now when I'm doing videos, it's like, oh no, now people are going to think, wow, she really goofed up on that one. But now I make videos because, number one, I miss my mom. And number two, I had a sister-in-law. She passed away rather early in life. And I really wasn't ready for her to go. She went too soon. So I really miss talking to my sister-in-law, and I miss talking to my mom. And I told my husband, I said, I gotta have a little bit of conversation. I don't have a lot of conversation with anyone throughout the day. for me to have a phone nowadays, it's like my husband and I will text, and I will text some, of my friends, and that sort of thing. But I don't have my mom to call anymore, They're just not around. Obviously not, but still. Something that you get used to, and then all of a sudden they're gone. It's like, wow, okay, this is weird. I had to get used to that because when my mom first passed away, the first thing I wanted to do was pick up the phone and call her. And that was wild. I was like, man, I can't do that anymore. And anyway, hopefully I didn't make you too depressed. It's just, I'm just kind of going down memory lane, I guess. I'm just kind of trimming things here and there because I guess I wanted more of, I kind of went off this way more, and I want more of the, doesn't have to show a lot, but I want more of the, what do you call it? The jean material to show through. I'll get it right in a minute. Sometimes I'm, can't think of what I'm talking about. Now it looks like I am trying to be a perfectionist. Oh, she sews. She's, but I want it to be a little bit more. But now I feel like I've got to, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do any more. Or maybe I could do a little bit more. I don't know. It does kind of look like I went off. But you can see, though, how I did that. I'm trying to explain myself, but I don't really need to explain myself, do I? Now, you're probably thinking, she's probably throwing those away. No. Look, I still have them. I'm not throwing them away, so. Now, these little teeny things I'm not going to keep. I mean, come on now. There's just a time that to throw away a little thing. Not going to keep everything. So anyway, did I get that all glued down? Yeah, I guess I did. See, I got to talking and wasn't even paying attention to what I was doing. Oh my goodness. Well, I digress again. So now I'm going to show you that of this other box I've got here, and this has got more lace in it to boot. Let me see if I can get this on camera here. Here we go. Yeah, a lot more wonderful things that I have in here. Just wanted to show you. Okay, but I got to rummage around this box, so I'm going to hit the pause button, but I'll remember to hit the pause button again so this doesn't end up in a 3-part series, okay? All right, see, I'm back. Now, this time, I am going to work with a little bit of lace. So this one already has a scallop to it, which looks like a half a flower or something like that. Now, I have quite a bit of this. Obviously, I'm not going to use it all, but, that's quite all right. Let me see. But I have to work at it from this side. Don't ask me why. I just have to. I just have to. Now, wait a minute. I got to get this going this way now. Now, if I don't talk too much, maybe I can concentrate on what I'm doing now. I will be able to feel the heat from this one, let me tell you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But because this is Shabby Chic, I wanted there to be a little bit of lace. And I just had to show you my lace box. So, actually, that wouldn't have mattered too much that I wouldn't have had to cut that off, I guess, but I did. Well, that's a little sticky. See, now I don't remember where I stopped and started here, but we'll just start here. That'll be okay. Youch. Now, you'll probably be hearing me say youch a lot more because we're working with lace. And again, with this lace, you'll just want to pinch and pleat. Pinch and pleat and pinch. Do 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 do. That's what you're going to want to do. Now, you'll not ever see my husband on video because he is a background person. He goes, I don't know how you do that. Well, it's just something I do. I used to be very, very shy. I know my coworkers don't believe me. Oh, you're kidding. You used to be shy? Oh, yes. I used to be terribly shy. Oh, yes. I think my mom and dad wondered. They told me when I got much, much older, they said, we always wondered when you were going to talk. We just never knew when you were going to talk. Oh, my. And I was just a very quiet kid. And not anymore. No, not anymore. Does that mean I gab all the time? No. If I'm home, when I'm home, I don't have anybody here to talk to if my husband's at work, so youch. I do have a doggie, and I do talk to her occasionally, but like I'll ask her if she needs to go outside. I do have a parakeet, but I don't talk to her very much. She's just by herself. I guess I should have gotten 2 birds. 2 birds can really entertain themselves. We were thinking that if we got 1 bird, we could teach her something, but she's not like the other parakeets we've had in the past. Our other parakeets were very sociable, and usually those kind of birds are very sociable, and they should be fairly easy to train, but my heavens, this gal that we've got, Abby, she doesn't respond to our training methods at all. So I'm like, well, okay, fine. We're not going to bug you. We're not going to bug you anymore, girl. So she has toys in her cage and things like that. She has a swing that she sits in once in a while, but she's a funny bird. And I didn't want a bigger bird because, number one, they're expensive. And, excuse me. And I don't know. My husband just doesn't like too big of birds. So, yeah. Well, we got the parakeet because for a number of years we used to have a cat, and that was before we had the bird, of course. We used to have a cat, and we brought him up from the South. When we lived in the South, we got him back then. And anyway, he traveled up here with us. And then when we got up here, I don't know if it's just because of where we live or whatever. I think my mom was kind of telling me, you guys might want to think about getting a dog. I said, I already have a cat. What do I need a dog for? She says for protection. Not that we live in a terrible part of town or anything, but back then I wasn't working, and I was working for a while. But when I wasn't working anymore, I was at home a lot. And so my mom said, you guys might want to get a dog. And, well, we went to the animal shelter here. We gave them all our credentials and everything so they could make sure that we weren't, blacklisted or anything like that, or on some sort of bad list, and we weren't. And so then we got our other dog. Not the one that we have now, obviously, but another one that we had. The other one we had, and no one else wanted her. They had her up front, in the front part of the office there, and of course they had her in a big old kennel and everything, and because she was a larger dog, of course. And they said, well, nobody wants her. Do you want to take her out in the yard and see how she reacts with you all? And we said, sure, you know. And of course, she loved us right the moment that we took her out in the yard and in a fenced-in area there. And then we said, sure, we'll take her, you know. Actually, back then they had a thing where you could take home an animal and have them in your home for about 7 days to see if they would acclimate to your home okay, you know. Because back then, like I said, we had a cat. And of course, the cat did not respond very well to the dog. He was already like, hey, wait a minute, you're in my territory. But in a way, that was kind of good too, because I was already had to put up with some of the shenanigans from our cat. I don't know if it's because we moved and then our cat kind of got stupid. He got really weird with me. He would chase me around the house. Silly cat. And I don't know. He could be silly. I knew he was playing with me and everything. But sometimes he'd sneak up on me, give me those big old marbly eyes, and I think, man, what in the world are you going to do? I'd just be sitting at my desk, you know, working on a project or whatever. And just for absolutely no reason whatsoever, he'd come up to me and bite me on the arm, and I'd think, wow, what in the world is going on with you? I did not like that. So I thought maybe if we had a dog in the house, maybe, yow, that might settle the cat down a little bit. Or at least the dog would add some interference sometimes, so cat wouldn't always go after me. So anyway, yeah, and then we found out our dog really worked out well with us then, and she was part, I don't even know I'm saying it right or anything like that, so you can correct me if you want to. How do you say it? A Weimaraner? How do you say that? I don't know how you say that. But anyway, she was part that, part pointer. She was part chow. What else was she part of? And black lab. She was mainly a black dog, and she had a white spot on her chest, and she had one just right where her neck collar came. And and then we named her Dolly. And she was a good guard dog. The name they had given her there was Willow, you know, because they've got to name their animals something at places where they stay. Now, because see how that, I'm kind of going around and checking here to see if all these have settled into their place here. They're all glued in, but this one right here did not get glued in very well, so I'm going to go ahead and run a little strip of glue in here. Anyway, so Dolly was a good dog for me to have here, and she was an inside dog. I don't believe in, you know, there's some dogs that do better outside if you got to run for them or you have places for them to stay if it's heated or whatever, you know. I'm all for if you want to keep your dog outside. But we were wanting her to be an inside dog. And anyway, she was a very, very good dog. She lived up to her name. I mean, she was a good girl, but she guarded me very, very well. I will just say that for a fact. And she guarded our house too, so that's a good thing. You know, it's a good thing to have a guard dog. Now, the dog we have right now, she is not a guard dog of any kind, and she does not bark unless she needs to bark. And even then, it's not even, might not even be a full bark. She just kind of goes, woof, you know, like, oh, well. Here you go. Here's a tiny little bark. Okay, well, you can kind of see how this is coming together, or how it came together anyway. I'm not going to really be too fussy about the strings here. I just want to show you, you can't even really tell it's a scalloped edge too much. And you can kind of still see through to the other fabric side of the fabric there. And instead of using one of these little, you know, items, I'm not going to use that. I thought I'd use one of these particular buttons. Maybe, yeah, which way does that go? Like that? Could use a big pink button, or we could use smaller button. I don't know if that would look right or not. It's almost like it disappears into the thing. Or, let's see. I don't think orange would look right. It could look okay, I guess, but I don't really want it on there. I don't really have any red buttons. Let's see, there's the green, but I don't really want green either. Okay, well, let's see. I've got some other buttons over here that I can check and see. I also got these at a flea market. Let's get these out and look at them here. See what we've got. We could go with one of those, but then it just blends in, doesn't it? It just blends too much. Or we could go with that one. See, we've got some pinks already in there in that particular thing. This is a little bit on the shiny side, not a lot, but it is shiny. I don't know, I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and look at the green, see if the green looks right. No, not so much the green. We already tried the silver. Let's try this blue. I don't know. I'm not feeling the blue either. I think the winner is on this one, and I don't really think it has a front or back on these, does it? It's all the same, isn't it? Well, alrighty then. We'll just do that. We'll just give it a little dollop here. And voila. And oops. And there you go. Let's see. That kind of bugs me though, that the glue just kind of goes through there. I know, can you even see the sheen to the button? I don't know if you can or not. It kind of bothers me that there's glue drying on the button. Anyway, so that's my shabby chic flower. And see, then that can be added to your junk journal. And this is what it looks like on the back side, the reverse side. And this is where we attached both, you know, remember the two separate things. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and sorry this ended up being a two-parter, but it wasn't supposed to be. But maybe in the long run that's better, huh? Kind of breaks it up a little bit. Well, thank you, and please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you would like. I think it's really cool to get your comments. I will trim that one. And I just love hearing from you all. Okay, thank you so much. And this is Mary, and I'm signing off. Okay, good night.